So what we have here is a NAS, and what we're going to be doing is installing ZimaOS on it. Not only am I going to be installing it, using it, doing a demo, testing everything out, I'm actually going to set up a share and use it for something because I'm doing a whole nother migration. So this is going to be a real use case test of ZimaOS. What is ZimaOS, you may be asking? Well, it is a continuation of further development of CasaOS, which is a phenomenal kind of starter NAS or home server home lab operating system. It has a great GUI. It's relatively simple to install applications. I've reviewed it in the past, I've tested it, and it does make like my top 5 list for some of the operating systems that I recommend. Right here, we're on the ZimaSpace, the blog for CasaOS here, and this is the differences here. So CasaOS, of course, gives us our app store, management, widgets, file sharing, but ZimaOS is expanding the functionality with remote access, auto backup, Thunderbolt optimization, cloud management and local storage, chat GBT garbage, and RAID support. Now, this is an older thing, and a lot of these features are actually existing, including, I believe, the RAID support. If we go over here, this is their GitHub page, the ZimaOS Public Evaluation Program. And if we just go ahead and take a look at some of the change logs here, every single time they add a bunch of new stuff. So it supports previews for all these different docs. They have virtualization support. PCI disks now support RAID, meaning that RAID, yes, is a thing on there. So it's been a very active project. So September 4th, 12th, a bunch of different updates here, October. The most recent one was 4 days ago. So we are going to be checking out version 1.30 beta. If you're interested in trying this out for yourself, just go ahead and grab this image file, and I used Etcher to go ahead and flash it onto a USB drive, which I already have plugged into this NAS. So what I need to do now is actually go kind of set it up, plug it in. I'm going to try to hook up a capture card so you can see the installation process. Also, one thing I will note, my previous video was covering the Zima Cube. This is actually going to be the operating system that ships with that. I didn't cover the operating system in that video because before it even had a chance to do a boot sequence, I threw Proxmox on it. And as you could tell on this older NAS, not older, on this NAS that's not in use, I had Proxmox on it as well. But we're doing the reverse here. Let's go ahead and boot into this USB we just created. Boot up the ZimaOS installer. And here we go. Welcome to the installation tool. Let's go ahead and install ZimaOS by hitting OK. And now we select our installation device. You can see I have four 4 terabyte hard drives in here, but let's go ahead and install it on the 128 gig NVMe SSD. And I would like to continue and do this. And this is your last chance. Yes, I'm absolutely positive. Of course, when you install anything on anything, it's going to wipe all the data, so make backups if you're going to be doing this. And just like that, it is complete. So I'm going to unplug the thing real fast. Warm plastic. So I removed it, and let's go ahead and proceed with this installation here. Or not installation, let's boot it up. Ugreen. And here we go. All right, let's see what IP we got. We got 163. So I'm going to go ahead and access this web GUI. All right, so I connected to the IP address here. We have welcome to something. We're going to accept the privacy policy. I haven't read it, but whatever. And let's create our local account here. There we go. Filled it in with some pretty simple stuff. Let's go next. So introducing ZimaOS. We can combine hard drives with a couple different RAID formats, manage assets and data, access anytime, anywhere with their remote login thing, and then merge your own apps, which I'm assuming is Docker. So we have start from App Store, dashboard. Let's start from files here because we actually need to go ahead and create that RAID pool. So I am slightly concerned because it says insert hard drives. I already have hard drives inserted. They are currently already set up in a RAID configuration, so that might be the issue. Ooh, we can do LAN storage, which is cool. So I might need to format these somehow. If there's not a way to do this in here, I'm probably going to have to fire up... Oh, never mind. I thought I was going to have to fire up gparted or something like that. So I'm seeing it in the dashboard, or the dashboard here. Storage detected. Newly inserted 4 disks. Let's view those. So now let's create our RAID. Create it as a RAID 5. And there we go. Now they're all there. So we're going to do all of them, 12 terabytes, and then we're going to go next. And this one, what should I call it? Let's just call it pool for now. And initiate RAID configuration. It's going to wipe everything and create. So let's give this a minute to do what it needs to do. This is definitely taking longer than other systems would, so I'm hoping there's no issues. Hey, well done. So let's go to files, just see what it looks like. So here we have our pool, and then we have our hard drive here, which has some things already in it. App data, which I'm assuming is like the Docker configurations, backup, documents, downloads, gallery, media, and whatever that is. And then of course here we have our pool. Now, one thing I saw that I'm curious about, and which I'm actually going to need to do because I'm going to back up a bunch of stuff from Unraid, is add a LAN storage. So let's do that. It doesn't look like it's going to auto-detect, but let's just see if it's going to be able to pull. And we're not going to connect this guest. I'm actually going to log in. And let's see if it just works for me. Hey! Beautiful. So this is my Unraid. I'm going to back up some things in here later. So I'm really happy that that worked that easily. That's usually not that straightforward, or at least it hasn't been on other systems that I've used. With Unraid here, oh, whoa, ignore all that. With Unraid here, you have to do this unassigned disk thing and add a share this way. And then I've had hit and misses with Proxmox working right. But yeah, here we are. We can view our documents. Is there a way to create a file through here? I don't think so. Upload folder, upload files. So this is pretty simple in general file browser. I do like it. Let's go back to our dashboard. So click on that. There we go. So file management, use files to manage data from different locations. If I click learn more, oh, it's just taking me back to here. So let's get out of there, and we have remote access. So this uses their thing. Let's hit learn more. Oh, cool. We have our ports. So this is some of our settings, our network settings. We have our 10 gig. We have our 1 or up to 2.5 gig. And so we can see our I/O here, which is cool. Connection, we have our internet plugged in. Remote access, Zima client allows you to remotely. I'm probably not going to use their client, let's be honest here. I'm going to use other means for connection. But we have our remote ID there. So I could reset it, enable or disable remote access with the Zima client. What is the Zima client? Oh, okay. So they're going to have mobile apps soon, Mac, Windows. So that's really cool if you don't want to set up like a VPN, TwinGate, or whatever you prefer to use. If we go down over here to apps, we have our app data location, which it looks like we can modify this. So if I hit here, and let's say we wanted to change this to our pool, I'm aware, start migration, and there we go. So it migrated it. So that's a really easy way to actually switch where this stuff is stored. So now that's in the pool, and if I wanted to like change the app images, which is the .docker, all I would do, select the pool and migrate it over. So there we go. And then user database, I'm just gonna keep this the same for now. Under storage, we kind of already saw this. We created our pool here, and we can actually see all the drives on there. It's only a 4-bay, so I'm not sure why it's showing it like this, but oh, it's because this is supposed to be on the ZimaCube. So it's this is the layout of the ZimaCube. So we have our 4 SSDs and then our 6 hard drives. So again, this is supposed to be stored on the ZimaCube, but I threw it on a completely different machine. And then under general here, we have our version. We could change our wallpaper. So if I wanted it bright, which, no. And we could, of course, upload our own. We have time, language, search engine, the web UI port, news feed, and power lights, which doesn't work because it's not the ZimaCube. And developer mode. Let's see what that looks like. Oh, it's one thing. SSH login. We can enable SSH if we'd like to. And, oh, we have a web-based terminal. Hey, there we go. Now, this is the dashboard. I don't really see much going on. Let's go to widget settings, see if we can add anything else. So we have the time, system, storage, and network. So those just are side widgets here. If I get rid of these, where's the apps? Where's all the apps? What's this? Oh, so that's if we're connected. Maybe if I go apps. I see the apps here, but I'm really not seeing where the actual app store is. I want to get some apps, man. It says we got the app store ready to go. Well, I need to do some exploring and experimenting. Maybe I'm going to reboot the system. Let's do that. Boop. Restart. Please. Now my camera just ran out of storage, so I need to move some files. So this is a good opportunity to actually test to see if I can do that. And I plugged in the SSD that I had plugged into my MacBook Air, and it seems to have detected it. And I forgot the exact format, but it was able to see it. It's the Apple only format. So That's nice. If I click manage here, it's not showing up here. It detects that it's there, but if I go to files, and it's not there either. So it might not be able to read that Apple only format. I'm going to try this again with the other hard drive that I have that I actually use for my camera, which is in a more read-friendly format. There we go. So I just plugged in the Samsung one that's attached to my camera. So if I go manage here, ooh, now it actually sees it, which is great because Unraid, because of the partitions on this thing, Unraid had a real big problem mounting it. So I open this up. Hey, there we go. Can I view this as a list? This is kind of backwards. If I hit show as icons, it shows as a list. And if I hit show as list, it shows as icons. So whatever. I need to grab these last few days. So let's just go ahead and grab everything here. I'm going to give this a copy. And then let's drop this into our pool, shall we? I'm going to make a new folder and call this camera. Open her up. And then let's just paste all 25 items. Now here we have, oh, nope, don't do that. Now this is a lot of stuff, so it might take it a minute, so let's just give that some time. Now while that does that, let's check out some of the apps. Sorry you can't see my pretty face at the moment, I know that's a real catastrophe. But here we have the apps. I had to restart the system after doing a migration of the data to the pool, so do note that. We have files, ZVM, peer drop, settings, and ISO community right out of the gate here. I believe we already saw settings. Peer drop. This is a drop files from another device anytime, so just a nice little drag and drop interface. If I go to this right here, I believe this is the virtual machine stuff. So here we have Windows 11, Windows 10, and a couple different Linux distributions. Let's go with good old-fashioned Linux Mint. Hit download. Hopefully those window downloads download directly from Windows or from Microsoft and not from somewhere else, because that wouldn't be good. And there we go. So through the installation image into data, downloads ISOs, we have the virtual machine name, save to, data VM, disk size. Let's give it a nice 20. And under advanced settings here, this is where we can get, looks like we could dedicate some cores to it, set our memory, choose our network so we can bridge it, set it as NAT, and we could pick our BIOS here. So not as many options as I would like, but for just general spinning up something, it's pretty good. For example, I'm not sure if it's going to like automatically use the Intel QuickSync stuff, but let's go ahead and create that. And here we go. It's booting up. Pretty nice user interface here. Let's start Linux Mint. Oh, we got to click in and then hit enter. Now, I'm not going to go through the whole installation process. I'm just kind of seeing it start up and see how kind of responsive it is initially. And there we go. Booted up pretty quick. Connection established. And we're in Linux Mint. Open up a terminal real quick, neo fetch it, and there we go. And it does seem pretty responsive. I'm going to power down this machine and see if we could get any other settings. So if I just do let's just force it down, sure. Click settings here, and it looks like we only get this. So we could change the CD-ROM, which is good, so we could get drivers or whatever we need. But that's about it. So I do wish there were more options here, but for simple VM spinning up, we're looking pretty good. So let's get out of there and see where we're at here. It's still going, 7%. Again, it's a completely full 2 terabytes, so that's going to be a bit. Where'd my apps go? Do I need to refresh it? Refresh. Oh no, this is the second time this has happened where I can't get access to my apps on the home screen. Oh no. So I'm gonna let my camera finish and then we'll come back. And there we go. I refreshed it and the apps are back. So hopefully that's not a continuing issue, but that was the virtual machine. So now let's check out the App Store. A lot of the times the Docker implementation of these NAS operating systems isn't the best. So I'm hoping there have been some improvements, but we can see quite a large selection, a lot more than you get from some other ones that I've noticed. Transmission, we have sonar here. What's something I could spin up real quick? Let's do Jellyfin. I'm curious if it's going to allow us to do the hardware transcoding. So here it is, gives us a nice little description, some screenshots. So we have install or custom install. Let's do custom install just to see. Okay, so it's pretty basic Docker stuff. So we have the Docker image, the tag, the title, the icon URL. Here we have the web UI stuff, which right there is for proxies and all that. We have our networking, so you can select that. We have all of the ports filled out. Here are our volume mapping, so it's nice that that's there. We have environmental variables, and there it is. Cool. So it is automatically giving us access to our hardware transcoding and any other, looks like, possible hardware transcoding driver that is available. It's just mapping it. We have our privilege, container command, which is really cool. You can add that there. So this looks like a pretty decent implementation of Docker on here. CPU shares, restart policy, cap. We have container name. I mean, it looks good to me. So let's just click install, and it's going to go ahead and do that for us real quick. Now, it looks like the install is completed, so if we back out of there, hopefully if I refresh this, it shows the Jellyfin icon. No icons. Boy, I don't know if it's just me or if this is like a common issue. I'm hoping it's just me. Let's be honest here. See, if I open up an app and then refresh it, maybe it's because of the migration. Let's try changing this back. So apps, app data. Let's move this back to the hard drive. And it started and restarted Docker too, so that could be the issue. And there we go. And we might as well do the app images as well. So let's move this to the hard drive. And oh, look, they showed up. So I'm going to do this one too, just to move everything back how it was. And I'll only use the pool for maybe like virtual machine. No, not even that, because I don't want hard drives powering my VMs. Definitely a bug, but it is a beta, so I'm not going to be bitching too hard. And there we go. And they're gone again. Ah. Oh, I thought about it for a sec. I refreshed it too soon. Ah. Oh, there it is. Yay. So we have our Jellyfin here. I'm not going to open it up. I'm going to try to do a quick setting change. Now, I do have that network map. So if I wanted to, let's say this media directory here. Let's pick a new location. It's not letting me use my share. Is it still mounted? Let's go check. Actually, settings, storage. The pool is there. Network. Okay, so it's in files maybe. Oh yeah, it's right there. I wish it, definitely a feature request. We should be able to map LAN shares within our Docker containers, because then I would have been able to throw up some media. But for now, let's grab some. So I'm going to drop just something into movies real quick. It's moving pretty quick. Another thing, I wish it showed me more details when this pastes, like the speed and all that, more than just the progress percentage. There we go. Charlie Brown Thanksgiving. So let's go back home and open up Jellyfin. Add our media library. There it is. Boop. Continue. And there we go. So here we go. We got a Charlie Brown Thanksgiving. Obviously, it's going to play just fine here. Now, let's see if hardware transcoding is working. So let's bump this. Let's down it, or not down it, render it a little bit differently here. And then if I go to playback info, we can see, oh, it's still direct playing. Let's go down even more. There we go. Now it's transcoding and it seems to be working. So that's good. That's very good. Now the real question is, can I get a Docker? Ooh, there it is. Add a containerized application. Okay, so we could just add whatever we want here. And this, you might need to do this with something like image. I wish there was compose support, but I don't see an obvious way to do that. Is image already in here? Ooh, it is. And they're customized for this, so it should be the like entire compose file. Without machine learning, image from gallery. Let's go with the Big Bear CasaOS. And I just hit install, didn't do a custom install. So once this finishes, we could dive into settings and see what the options are. So there it is, image is installed. If I go into settings, let's see what we got going on here. Okay, so right here are the various Docker images that are associated with it. So I wonder, did I just miss it before? So we have the main app. Can I add another app here? Import. What's import? Ooh, so you could drag and drop the whole Docker Compose file in here. There's Docker CLI, CLI to compose. Oh, it takes us here. So that is super cool. I'm going to grab something of mine. What will happen if I throw in my entire media stack? So the R compose, give this a copy and drop it in here. So there is everything. Now I'm going to hit submit. Okay. This is the very first time that I've used a Docker interface like this that's built into any sort of NAS operating system, whether that be, I think this right here is better than Synology by a long shot. I think if it works, I think I like this better than like Unraid. I mean, it's not better than Portainer, but for what it is, it's really good. And here it brought in everything, so this is like all the defaults kind of stuff. Granted, it died, so gluten. Oh, so it didn't pull all these environmental variables, so you're still going to have to go through and customize. You're going to have to add your environmental variables here because it didn't grab everything. Here it grabbed almost everything, so it's not perfect yet, but this has great potential. It did change some of these right away for us, so it recognized that the container or the volume locations weren't accurate, so it kind of changed that for us. Did NZBGet have a network? So if I go, oh, see, network mode, service gluten. Can I do that? Oh, that's ports. Oh, so bridge to gluten. Okay, I like this a lot. I really do. Now, real quick, this is editor Brandon here, and what I need to mention is this is not perfect yet, obviously. I threw in a Docker stack and kind of edited it to actually match the proper configurations and all that. It did not launch properly. And I think this main app right here, this kind of compose thing is only for like background containers that the main app is dependent on. So you can't at the moment properly launch a bunch of main apps. You're going to have to set them up separately and connect them differently than just a simple compose stack. So I do hope they change that in the future. I still love the implementation and the potential, but right now doing kind of the compose stacks that like I have on my GitHub, for example, aren't going to work. You're going to have to separate or set up the front facing apps separately. I got some playing around and work to do before I can get everything working how I want it to. So I do still love it. I still praise it, but it's definitely not where I need it to be to use it as like my main Docker machine. Granted, for their kind of custom interface, there should be like a, if I do this, boom, add a container, there should be a little plus button right here, which would be nice, help us really easily create a compose kind of stack directly through their interface. Very nice. Granted, again, this is a beta. We've run into a couple issues here and there, but honestly, I installed this on this NAS just to kind of make this video and test it out. I might just keep it on there. I might. Let's go into files real quick and try to make a share. So let's go to our pool. I don't know how to do this. I'm just kind of making an assumption here. If I click this, oh, there it is. Share via Simba. Let's make a Simba share. So camera, media pool camera, permissions, Brandon, read write, create. Why is Docker in there? Oh, oh, never mind. So camera has been added, Windows Explorer, Mac OS, boop. Let's see if it just shows up real quick. Not really. ZimaCube. Oh, hey, ha. Camera. Oh, it's not showing anything. Oh, there it is. Wow. And it's funny because LTT just made a video about, I forgot the name. It's a new NAS operating system, which really just looks like a kind of front-end GUI for TrueNAS that they're going to try charging $300 for, which is a lifetime license. So there's that, but 300 is crazy. And this has the kind of user friendliness of all the features that they were kind of going off about on that video. So I don't know, man. This is really nice. Ice Whale really has, for a beta, has outdone themselves. Especially CasaOS has always been cool, but for this to be the development and the more kind of pro version of CasaOS, this is up there. This is going to be up there on the list, especially once it comes out of beta and everything just works. This is really, really nice. So I'm going to stop there because I'm not trying to sit here and simp too hard. There's obviously a bias here. They sent me some of their hardware, so I'm kind of like, The hardware was good too, the ZimaCube. This is light years better than the Ugreen implementation of their operating system. Ugreen tried to get me to sign like a long-term deal where I like couldn't feature other things, and I can see why. It would have been rather lucrative, but I did say no. So yeah, with all that, I do hope you have an absolutely beautiful day. I'll leave a link to this down below if you want to try it out for yourself. Again, there are some issues here and there. It's not perfect yet. It is beta, so I'd be careful throwing it into production if that's something you're wanting to do. Obviously, if you do throw it into production, have a backup of your data somewhere else, because again, it's a beta, and my applications were disappearing on me. Are they going to do it again? No? Good. Okay. Have a great day, and goodbye.